I'm Kathleen Walker, and this is the Falmouth Triathlon Athletes Meeting and presented to you by New England Endurance Events. We are being recorded today. Anyone who misses the recording, so if you've got friends that weren't able to join tonight, or there's something that you want to go back to, and you're like, "What did she say about that?" You can go to our YouTube, and not only will you find this recording, but you will find every recording from like the last, I don't know how many years, 5, 8 years maybe. So, there's lots of different recordings. Particularly if you're a new triathlete and sometimes you just want to like pick up little tidbits, then it's great to be able to go back to some of those old recordings. So our format today is, and as it is actually for every athletes meeting, we're going to start off with new things about Falmouth this year. So this means you've raced in years past. You maybe raced last year, which we had a new run course. But you just want to hear what's going on. Are there potholes? Like, what's the deets for this year? Then the next section will be you're a seasoned triathlete, but you're new to Falmouth. So we don't need to tell you, basic stuff. Where do you put your bike and that kind of stuff? But this race is different than maybe other races you've done. So we'll be able to go through that. Then the last part's going to be for anyone that is new to triathlon. So we'll go over things that we do, but also just general stuff. Like, where do you put your things in transition and how do you make a transition from swim to bike and all that kind of stuff. So if you have those kinds of questions, so everything in chat, but if you have those kind of questions and you're like new to triathlon, hang on a sec, listen for a little bit because your question might get answered somewhere along the way. Sometimes it gets answered more than once. But if it hasn't been, throw it in chat, put it out there. And then as we do each section, we'll go through questions that are related to that. So if I see a question that is clearly a new triathlete kind of question, I'm going to probably hold that off just a little bit so that way we can get a chance for those people that just need quick info so that way they can move on so we can get them out of here. But I will definitely answer your questions later on if they are not answered right away. All right. So let's get started. We'll go ahead and I've got a presentation and we'll go through that. And I am looking forward to tonight with you. All right. Here we go. 2026, easy enough. All right, so new things for this year, newish things. So some things are reminders. So pack a pickup. You get a check-in pass, and that will come via email. So you need that to be able to check in on either Saturday evening or Sunday morning. So make sure you've got your phone, bring it up on the phone beforehand so you're not hunting it down while you're online or while you're right there at registration. Saturday pickup, which I strongly suggest, is at Mullen School. So that's in town. It's right by the library. You can, if you go to our athletes guide, there's a link with the with Google Map. So 4:30 to 6:30. A lot of our folks will be over there, be able to help you out. It's usually a rollicking good time. And that just makes it a lot easier for Sunday morning if you're not used to racing with us. Race clinic is thanks to Trish Cundiff, and that will be at 6 p.m. That will be at the beach. So the packet pickup is over at the school, which is in town. You can park there, plenty of parking. And then the beach is where the race clinic will be because you guys will be able to swim if you like at your own risk. If you want to swim part of the course, that usually really helps. There is no parking in that beach parking lot. The only parking um, for Saturday is down the road. So if you go past the beach and you go to Mill Road, there's like a little gravel parking lot, and you can park in there, and then you just walk. So it's like an eighth of a mile. You guys are athletes, it'll be no problem. So we could use volunteers. Um, Races can always use volunteers. We really need some volunteers. So we want to make sure that you have the best experience possible, and that's where volunteers come in. So if you have a family member or a friend that's just going to be standing around and then they see you 3 times and they clap those 3 times and they're like, oh, that was fun, put them to work. So if they volunteer, they get a t-shirt, they get the after race snacks, sandwiches, things like that. They get a swag bag. They get to feel like they're a part of things. So if that is something that you think that your loved one would like to do, we would love to have them. Maureen is going to put in the chat right now the link for them to follow because they need to register. So she'll put that in there, and I'm going to ask you guys several times. So that gives you time to think about it. All right. We have as I mentioned before, the run course was new last year. So I'm going to run through that again because I think even those that ran it last year are kind of like, whoa, that was new. So we'll go over that in our first section. And then last year we started no crossing the yellow line because it became quite dangerous. You do get disqualified for crossing the yellow line on a bike. So please don't do that. There are some rough road patches. We'll show you where those are. There are time cutoffs. These are also in the race details. So take a look at that if you're concerned. D'Angelo's is our post-race nutrition. That's thanks to Rexel Energy. Yoga on the Beach is by Terry Walsh. And that will be once she finishes her race. So it usually ends up being somewhere around 9 a.m. Sometimes it's a few minutes after, something like that. But the announcer will call and tell you guys when that is. And just like bring a beach blanket is great. And she'll do some stretches right there with you. Award ceremony, again, it's ish. It depends on getting all of the uh, uh, race info in. So it will be around 9:30-ish. Um, Something that we have trouble with mostly at just Falmouth, is bikes trying to leave transition, or you guys trying to take your bikes out of transition. So it's a USA Triathlon rule, and it's a safety rule that all bikes must stay in transition until the last bike comes off the bike course. We need to be able to account for the last person coming in before you guys all go. So I want you to know that because when you try to leave and you say, no, I can leave, and I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry, you can't. You got to stay. So plan accordingly so that way you are not leaving that transition area, or you can leave all you want, but your bike has to stay until, let's say it's 9:15. Sometimes it can be that late. So that way, if you can plan ahead, that at least helps with the expectations. I will not let you leave transition. So please plan. And obviously no e-bikes. This is all people movers. But we still have to say it. All right, so let me show you the next. Oh, yeah, we're the state championship. We're one of the Massachusetts state championships. For anyone that cares about it, not everyone does. They changed the way they did state championships for Massachusetts and Florida, so we are the guinea pigs. But it means you can qualify for nationals at any sanctioned Massachusetts race, which is kind of cool. And this year, because the nationals is in Milwaukee, in August, there any race that you qualify for, and there's the qualifications there on the slide, that you qualify for up till July 31st. Maureen, will you check that in the thing? I want to make sure that it's not June 30th and I just overspoke. But I believe it's up to July 31st. You can then participate in this year's nationals championship, which is kind of cool. Or you can wait until 2027. So it would be up to you. There's like this little window that you could either do this year or you could do next year, but Falmouth is one of the qualifiers. If you don't want to go to nationals, Milwaukee's a long way. Then if you've done 3 races that are all qualifying races, which means they're sanctioned, they're in Massachusetts, then you can still be ranked at state championship ranking, which is kind of cool. So it's another new way of doing it. Maureen, am I right? It's July 31. It's in our blog.
Oh, it's in the blog. Okay. I was looking at the USA Triathlon
Oh, no, you'll never
site,
find
but I'll
it.
check the blog.
Okay. All right. While Maureen is checking that. So the course, obviously swim, we have there in the pink. Your run, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You guys can see it. You can go into the athlete's guide to look at like road by road, but things for you to note. This is, we call it WHOI, right? So it's the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute, and they've allowed us to use their campus. So we use it's called Ring Road, and we kind of go around the campus and come back around. This is a hill uphill, then it goes all around. This is a steep hill downhill. So you make a steep downhill and then you make an immediate right. So last year we had a couple of bikes that went end over end. So slow down going down that hill. I know it's like, oh, good, I got this nice hill, but it's going to end poorly. So slow it down going down, like right after you make that last turn. You see where the downhill is. So slow yourself down so you can make that right, particularly because there's bikes going in the other direction. They're going this way. You don't want to be running into them. So please be careful right there. We're going to show you some potholes in just a little bit that are farther on the course. But you can see which direction it goes in. You're on Woods Hole Road for a hot minute, and there's flaggers or police officers on either side of that to protect you from the cars. You get to see Knobska Light, which is kind of cool. You have a long time to see it because it's uphill. And then you come back around. And this is the new run course, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So for those of you that have raced Falmouth before, maybe didn't race last year, normally the runners and the bikes are all on this stretch right here. And it's like there's a lot of coming and going and trying to be careful not to get hit or hit somebody. And now we just move the run completely out of the way. So you don't see the ocean as much, but you don't have to worry about bikes. Maureen, did you find that info?
I did. It is July 31st, and I put the link to the blog in the chat as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so potholes. Andy, do you want to talk? So over to my right, you guys can't see him, but it's our other race director that's been hiding over here. He's gonna come over. So Andy went out on the course yesterday and put out some signs, but also found some potholes. So we have asked DPW, Falmouth DPW, if they wouldn't mind plugging those up, and they'll do the best they can as DPWs do. So that means they're gonna be fast. They've got other things to do. They're gonna slap some stuff down. Sometimes it creates a mound. Sometimes it creates more rough road than we had before. So you should just be mindful of it. So Andy, do you wanna?
Yeah, every year these harsh New England winters do a number on our roads. We had to, thanks to the Falmouth DPW, they helped us a lot last year, and they're coming this year
Sometime
to
between now and
right,
Sunday. Yes.
hopefully catch all the potholes, fill it in. Nonetheless, we will be spray painting in hot pink any worrisome spots on the course. But we can show you what we're currently concerned about. It's not as much as usual. Um, After you're on Woods Hole Road and you turn onto Church Street and you head toward Knobska Light, some of you may remember who've done the race before. There's a stretch that goes by a beautiful beach, and you can see Martha's Vineyard out in the distance if you're looking. Um, but it is close to the beach, and as a result, sand gets onto the road surface. Um,
Where
uh,
are you? You over here by Knoxville, you
we're
say?
by the
Okay. What about what
this
about
area
what
here.
about that one right there? Isn't that earlier on the course?
No, that's later.
Okay. I'm
So,
always in transition. Okay.
all right. So,
All
yeah,
right.
if
So
you
here.
move your
So here.
cursor,
So right here, you said sand.
no,
Where do you
up
want
and to the
me?
left.
It says directions of bikes. Direction of
Oh,
bike.
all right. Okay.
I
Yeah.
was right.
So
See? Okay. Okay.
down here. That's
All right.
right.
So Sandy Road, you guys can see that
So
right through
it's
here.
sandy, which is not really, we will be brooming and leaf blowing that road uh, even after Falmouth does it. And we'll be doing that on Saturday. However, grains of sand show up, and the only place where it's a little bit of a concern for us right now, because usually bikes, if they go through an area that's slightly sandy, that's not a problem. But we worry about a bike making a turn, and there is a curve on that road, a right curve, um, and yeah, getting
Okay.
someone
So there's
losing
sand.
traction is
Okay.
what we're concerned
So
about.
we have sand there, and then we're going up this way, and we
Right.
come all the way up to here. All right. And then,
This is right before the railroad bridge.
oh, sorry. Somebody else. I got myself all turned around.
Okay.
Whoever it was, I think just, oh, wait, I'm gonna get you guys off. I gotta take you off there because let me do it this way. Sorry. I'm getting old. I can only do one thing at a time. Okay. So
Okay.
go back to this.
Happened to us. Hasn't happened to anyone else. Hasn't happened anywhere.
That sounds like someone's got the devil in their like on their back.
What does it mean? Got it?
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. We're all done with that one, right? Okay, here we go. Going back to the share. Um, all right, here we go again. So, all right, so we were all the way up to here. So as you're coming from Knobska Road and you're continuing on to Oyster Pond,
Yeah, but
there's
you're not an oyster pond yet. But anyways, there is a spot there where we hope the Falmouth DPW will fill with asphalt. If they don't, we will try to fill it with asphalt, although they do a better job than we can. And then shortly after that, which is uh, as you're entering onto Oyster Pond Road, it's really one road, but it keeps changing names as you go along. It's just a peculiar thing we have here. There'll be several potholes that we hope will be covered. If not, we will be spray painting the heck out of them on Saturday. So uh, I would say on the bike, you're at about the 7 mile mark. I probably should get an exact count, but you'll be at about 7 miles on the bike. So kind of stay alert. And not just stay alert for potholes. There are residences and some small residential roads along the bike course, and you never know when someone jumps in their car, forgets there's a race going on, or doesn't realize it, um, and decides to go to the supermarket and suddenly on our road, despite the police officer's best efforts to minimize motor vehicle traffic.
yes. Um, okay. All right, we got that.
Got it?
Okay,
Okay.
I got that one muted. So I put I put the bigger map here just for you guys to see kind of where that is. So that's kind of all in this bulb right here. So, so if that helps you thinking about where you are on the course. All right. So, so that run course goes, you guys are swimming out here. Now, for anyone that's not familiar with Falmouth, we walk way down the road and it's like quarter mile down the road and then go past a jetty and then you get in the water there and you swim all the way back, right? So you're going to come back over here and then here's that bike in and out. And then the run is way over on this side now. So I'll show you where that is. Just wanted to show you as far as like where that falls in transition. A lot of people ask about porta potties. There are the bathhouse. Once they open the bathhouse, there are actual flushable toilets in there. And then the other porta potties line up kind of right outside the bathhouse. There are no porta potties in transition at all, but they are there. And medical tent is over here. And bike support, yeah, is all over there. All that stuff ends up right over in this section here. Um, Spectators, of course, you're not allowed in transition, and you can't be over on this side of the road. It's just too dangerous for you, and makes it really difficult for us to keep athletes safe. So there's other places that you can be, just please don't be here.
You could be volunteering.
That's right. You can be volunteering, in which case you might be able to stand there. All right, so there's the run course. So, so you came out of transition, and I'll show it to you a little better in a minute. But you're going to come out, stay the left side. You go out, you'll come down the residential streets. You'll water stop, as you can see there. You'll go around, you make that loop twice. So do 2 loops, and then you're going to come back here, and there you go, and you go right down the finish chute. For those that have raced Falmouth before but didn't race last year, usually there's kind of a long stretch. Going to the finish chute from the run course, and that's not the case now. So now it's just like, I don't know, what is it, 100 feet, something like that. You're actually running on the
Right.
sand,
Right.
and it's pretty packed sand on that
Not
on
even
that side.
far.
Yeah, so it's not a lot. It's not like the deep sand that we used to have.
The important thing to please remember is when you're on the bicycle, you're always on the right side of the road, with one 100-yard exception where the police will channel you into the left lane in Woods Hole. When you're on the run course, you're always on the left side of the road. Think of it as if you're going for a run just a training run, you would normally run on the left side of the road so you can keep an eye on traffic. In this case, you're on the left side of the road because there are other racers are going to be returning to the beach on their left side of the road. So this is how we keep you all separate, avoid any possible mix-ups.
Okay, so kind of taking that, putting it into real roads. Same thing, right? So you go out, make that left, go around, get water. So you have two chances for water. And around and out and back you go. All right. All right. On the course, our course hydration is Good Life. I think that for Falmouth, it's the lemon lime. So I think Hyannis we had it was sorry.
Should I mute the dog?
I know, sorry, dog's drinking water if that's what you guys are hearing. Um, so at Hyannis it was like there was like no flavor to it, which made it not taste great. The lemon lime is good. So hopefully you guys will like that. It is, my opinion, better than some of the other yucky stuff like Gatorade. But
I'm not supposed to say
I
that.
know I'm not supposed to say that's why I said it that way. So but Good Life is good stuff. So that will be out on the course. And oh, and you have I think there's a sample, right? Maureen, is there a sample in their swag bag? Definitely a Q.
There's definitely a code. I'm not sure if there's a sample. It's a Beth Ann question.
Okay, sorry. All right, so you might get a sample, but either way, test it on the course. Is Beth Ann on? Okay.
I think
So volunteers, I mentioned it before, I'm going to mention it again. We really could use volunteers, and we really appreciate it when you supply volunteers. All right, our charity partners, Boys and Girls Club of Cape Cod. And so far, our Falmouth athletes have raised over $1,000. It's $1,008. Yeah, $1,008. So thank you. That is great. Throughout the season, we are athletes. If you choose to donate during registration process, we appreciate that. We personally do donate as well. And then they have kids and then they have adults that volunteer as well, and we pay, we give them money for their volunteers as well, so we're able to give them a nice check at the end of the year. So we appreciate your help with that. All right, so for those that just needed like the quick stuff for this year that they usually race Falmouth, this is your time to go if you wish. Please check out the athlete's guide. If you go to the falmouthtriathlon.com page, you'll see the athlete's guide up on top. So that's the easiest way to be able to get to it. Please read the athlete's guide, please. Andy puts a lot of time in it to make sure that you guys have everything that you need. So it's worth looking at. All right. So does anyone have any questions forget about all the other stuff, but just what we just talked about, like the run course or the potholes or something like that we can cover. And then if not, no problem. We'll go on to the next section and people will have other questions. Oh yeah, we got lots of questions. Sorry.
excuse me.
Okay, let me start from the beginning. All right. Remember, Maureen's got the link in there for volunteers. And the 31st, you can qualify for nationals this year at this race. You don't have to wait to 2027, but you can. Sorry, a lot of mute questions. Let's see. On the run. So there's some questions about, like, right now there's a guardrail there. And we have a little secret with the guardrail, and we can take down a part of it. So you go out that side of the parking lot. Right now, it looks like, well, how in the world are you going to do that without like doing hurdles? But two pieces of that guardrail will be removed before the race. So never fear, we will take care of that. Good Life flavor. Sorry, Beth Ann corrected me. This year for Falmouth, it's rainbow candy flavor. And yes, there is a sample in the swag bag. Thanks, Beth Ann. And then there's a question about how marked up is the course. I'm not quite sure what you mean. With signs, we have lots of signs and hopefully lots of volunteers that will be out there directing you. When I race, I always drive the courses, bike and the run course, just so that way I know when I'm out there, I kind of have an idea of what's going on. That might help you too. Um, to make sure bike numbers. Oh, yes. So Nick, that's a great question. I actually have it a little bit farther on, but for everybody. Um, Nick says, once bikes are allowed to leave, will you have someone in transition making sure that your bike is going with you? And that's exactly what we do. And that brings up another good question. For some reason at Falmouth, and it's only at Falmouth, people take their bike numbers off their bike like as soon as the race is over. Please don't do that. Leave the bike number on because that's how we're checking to make sure it's your bike. Because you're going to have body marking on you, and we're going to compare the body marking with the bike number. And that's how I know that that's your bike instead of somebody else taking your bike, which has never happened, by the way. But that's how we ensure that we have the right person with the right bike, that someone's not walking off with something. So please leave your bike number on your bike until you get to the car. Thank you. Maureen had said the same thing in her chat. There is packet pickup on Sunday morning. It does get kind of crazy Sunday morning. So if you have the ability to get it Saturday, I would do it then. It is not at the school though. That is a great question, Arnold. Packet pickup on Saturday is at Mullen School. On Sunday, that would be impossible for us to do. So it's at the race site. So come to the Surf Drive Beach. Oh, so there's another good thing. That's my next section, I think. There's no parking at the beach or anywhere near the beach on race morning. So everyone's got to park over by that Mullins School. There's actually a Lawrence School over there too. You can park in any one of those schools, the library parking lot, and then you're going to walk to the venue. And it's about, I don't know. I'd say it's a third mile. Andy will say it's a quarter mile. So somewhere in there. It's not that far. And it's a good way of just kind of getting going and you'll see everybody and it kind of adds to the atmosphere. So plan ahead, make sure that whatever you have, your transition bag is one that is easy to transport. Some people just jump on their bike and they have a transition bag that has a like backpack and off they go. But if you're one that uses a crate, which would be better if you didn't use a crate in transition because it's really easy for someone to trip over it. And it would be really hard for you to get that from your car to transition. So kind of think through how you're getting your stuff to transition. Um, all right. Um, um, Good question for relays. And I think Maureen answered that too, but for everybody else, relay teams need to be together. All relay team members need to be together to pick up their packet. You can't do just one, and everyone needs their license, and everyone needs a USAT number and all of that stuff. I'll mention that all in a little bit in a second. Packet pickup on Saturdays is at 4:30 to 6:30. Sunday, we start at 5:30. Okay, sorry, we're there earlier, but 5:30. That's what I'm being told. And then we'll go over better times to be able to arrive. The all right, so I'm going to save anything else for this next section. All right, so let's get started. If you haven't raced Falmouth, so here's parking options. Surf Drive Beach here. As you notice, there's no parking options here. But there are all over the place. Now, when Andy and I used to race, we would just come down this main stretch and we would park over here at Lawrence or at Mullen School. Mullen School is where packet pickup is on Saturday. Easy parking. Do not park on the road. Only park in a parking lot. If you park on the road in a parking space, you will be ticketed. There was a whole thing back in the night, back a while ago, where athletes were parking on the road. They took up all the parking spaces, and boy, it made the merchants mad. So since then, they will ticket anybody who's parking on Main Street. So don't do that. But there's lots of different parking lots you can park in. There's the one over here, which is over by the run course, if that works for you, and over there too. So that is all in the athlete's guide. We do our swim waves, call it a modified time trial start. So we do a time trial in between each wave, and the waves are distinguished by the different cap colors. We will post those in the next day or so. They'll be in the athlete's guide, so you have an idea of what color cap you have and kind of who's in your wave. So if you have a wave that's got a lot of people, don't worry about it because you're only going every few people at a time, up to 8 athletes. Sometimes we break it up and it's going to be 4 athletes every 5 seconds. either way, you're not going to be going with like 60 of your best friends. So that will make it a little easier when you're going out on the going out in the water. It's not as hairy as having, like this big washing machine full of people. Water temp yesterday was checked at 72 degrees. If you are an anxious swimmer, which it can easily happen in open water, particularly if you've been swimming in the pool, or you have a medical condition that you think we should maybe keep some extra eyes on you on the water, ask for a neon green swim cap. So that that will indicate to the lifeguards that they just need to watch you just a little more carefully. And it's, ends up being a big help. You'll see them throughout every wave. So it's not just for beginners, it's for anybody. All right, we have open racking system. Means you can rack anywhere that there's not a sign that is a reserved sign. So if you're a member of a triathlon club that has more than 6 people, you might end up, like they might have their own rack. So if you're not part of that club, you would go somewhere else. We have military members. We will do a separate rack for military and first responders. And that's usually towards when you're looking at, if you're looking at it from the bathhouse, it's usually closest to the bathhouse. So just ask if you're not sure where that might be. Um, when you rack, and I remember I said before, you cannot take your bike out until all the bikes are in, right? So that's golden rule. But sometimes we do awards not long after that, and you want to stay for awards. If you wouldn't mind, just move your bike off the rack so we can get those racks cleaned up because the Falmouth beaches, like part of our deal with them is that we get out of Dodge as quickly as we can so they can open that beach up. So that will help us get everything cleaned up so that way we keep them happy. And if we keep them happy, we get to keep racing. So we appreciate your help with that. All right. There's that ride from town down to Surf Drive Beach. So, he's just got a backpack and off he goes. Sometimes people are like walking and just walking their bikes, talking to people, whatever you like. Usually a little more crowded than that in the morning. But that's normally how people do it. We do have C Sports, is our bike support sponsor. So C Sports will be there. They do have the air, if you need air in your tires. If you get there and you're like, oh shoot, like something happened to your bike, they can usually fix it. You will need to pay for things like if it's a tube or something like that, because obviously it's not fair to make them pay for that. So throw some little bit of money in your bag or have your Venmo or what have you, and you'll be good. They were there until the race starts. As soon as the race starts, they're out. So really make sure your bike's in good shape before the race starts. All right. For those that aren't aware, we do check your brakes and the bar plugs before you go into transition. So it does take just a minute. So that's what this volunteer is doing here. He's just checking there, and then he usually puts his thumb. The bar plugs are right there. So that's normally there's like a little plastic piece that goes on that. And that's done so that way if you were to crash on your bike and this went into your stomach, you can see how that wouldn't be great. So if there's a plug on there, it's less likely to do that. It's not going to like impale you. So that's a USAT rule, and that's why it's there. So they'll check for that. They'll also make sure we don't have e-bikes in transition because that wouldn't be fair to anybody. All right. I mentioned before that the swim is like way down the beach. And that's where all these people are going. So behind them, now this was not last year's picture, so the finish line is here. Now the finish line's over here a little bit. But either way, swim exit still the same. Everyone's walking all the way down so they can get to the swim start. It takes a good 5 minutes, sometimes a little longer, to do that walk. So just for you to be able to keep that in mind so you can plan ahead. All right. All right. We have orange swim buoys. Keep them on your left. Looks like these guys are going straight out to the very first buoy, and then it's like straight across. It is closer to shore. It's not touchable, but at least it's more comfortable, like you can see the bottom. So usually that helps people that are a little more anxious in the water. You still get in the distance, but you're not like way out in the middle of the sound. We do have little pools of water when you get out, so you can wash off your feet if you choose. And then this is exactly what it looks like. You've got a little chute, you'll go all the way down, and then you'll turn into transition. And that's to make it fair. So no matter where you are, wherever you're racked in transition, you still have kind of equal distance from runs and bikes and all that stuff. All right. Uh, walk or run your bike in transition, please. As I mentioned before, keep your bike in transition until the last bike is in, and no spectators. So only athletes, volunteers, staff members are the only ones allowed in transition. No babies, no grandmas, no brothers. So that's to keep your things all secure and safe and to make it safe for everybody else that's around. They're not tripping over somebody else that's like not racing. All right. And then I mentioned before the bike numbers, this is what I mean. So you've got your bike number here. Just keep that on until after your bike has been checked out of transition. So you're actually leaving transition. All right. So let's answer any other questions. And then we have our newbie section. And we'll answer anything we possibly can then. So let's see what we have new. All right. So um, uh, Marina asked about people registered. We are at full capacity. So we will not be taking anybody else. Let's see. Yeah, 7:50. The USAT website won't allow you to do a 1 day membership on their website. You have to do it through a race. I don't know exactly why they do it that way, but that's how they've always done it. So you have to follow the link in, let's see, if you don't have a USAT membership right now, or it's like lapsed, then we've been sending you emails. And in the emails is a link. If you press on the link, it will connect for USAT. It will connect our race with your registration if you've already, if you already have a username and stuff for USAT. So that if they have to have that connection, you can't just go straight over. If you have any trouble with that, Maureen is maureen@neevents.com. And she loves USAT questions, right? She's great at it. I mean, really great at it. Um, the and Maureen did answer that. And that also brings up another thing. If you don't have your USAT number before you get there and you try to do it, because either way, you're going to have to do it on your phone or like on a computer. We don't have paper versions anymore. You used to be able to like fill out a waiver and all that stuff. You can't do that anymore. So either way, it's got to be on your own device. So better to do it before you actually get there, because otherwise you're still going to have to do it. And now you've got like all this long line of people behind you, and you have to wait in Maureen's line as well as the registration line. So you'll save yourself some trouble if you can get it before. All right. Um, the All right, let's see. Packet pickup on Saturday and Sunday. That information is also in the athlete's guide. I know I've said it a few times. So to save everybody else, Maureen did put the schedule in there. Parking options for athletes only, or can spectators park there as well? Good question, Mackenzie. So in all of those parking lots, anyone can park there. They're completely public. Your spectators can park there. Not a problem at all. If you want your spectators to be able to watch like on the run, they could park over on those. If you go to the athlete's guide, you'll see it. The parking lots over to the right, like over by the marina. Um, I already said no Main Street. Sorry, Andy's over here like yakking at me. So the so if they park over there, they'll get to see you on the run twice. So and then they can just walk down a little beforehand so they can see you on the run. All right, we just provide proof of so good question, Julie. Thank you for your service. You do not have to show your military ID. We trust you. If you say that you are military or you're a first responder and you want to rack at those racks, by all means, you can do that, no problem at all. Even if you're retired and you want to, and Julie, you might not be retired. I'm not assuming that you're older. But I'm not retired. I'm veteran. So if you're veteran, whatever, by all means, You can park in those, park your bikes in those racks. We appreciate you coming. Yes, good question, Sean. So Sean says, should we remove mirrors from bikes? Yes. USAT rules, you're not supposed to have the mirror. And they have a number of different reasons, but either way, no mirror, take that off, please. The drop-off option for elderly spectators. Um, if you have a handicap pass, there is one or two parking spaces in the front of the beach building, but it is first come, first serve. Um, if you're I'm trying to think of how we've done that in the past, because even there's a parking lot that's way down the road, but it's for staff and lifeguards and things like that. Even there, that's still a good walk. An option might be to park over where we were just talking about the marina, and then your elderly spectator would be able to still have a car close by and still see you on the run. Um, all right. In the walk to swim start, what surface are you walking on? Sand, mostly sand.
Your choice.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the whole beach right there, but it's pretty sandy. I think there might be a little spots that's got a rock or so. Some people will bring flip-flops, and then leave them there. If you bring something that you might want again, put it over by the lifeguard chair, which is where I will be positioned. And then if I see it there, I'm going to bring it back with me. So you could do that. It's not going to be cold enough to worry about a jacket or something like that. But in years past, sometimes there'll be like, someone's shirt or something like that they wanted to leave, and I'll just bring it back and bring it to. I'm going to bring it. I will bring it to the help desk and just lay it on the help desk. Um, Bike computers are allowed, Erica. No phones though. Yeah, and that was the next one. Someone said, I know phones can't be used. Yes, phones, no phones. No phones, no music, no headphones. Um, all that. I think some people have brought a phone on the bike, and not put it on. I would say just don't bring the phone, at all. You've got a chance of it getting broken anyway. Um, Relay teams I'm going to go over with in just a minute and how that works. And so, Holly, I think I just answered your question. No earbuds with music during the run. No earbuds with music, without music. No earbuds. Not on the run, not on the bike, um, at all. And you want to enjoy what's going on anyway. We need you to be able to hear anything that might be happening. So thank you, Beth Ann, for answering that too. The All right, and I already covered the whole phone thing. Maureen's email. Maureen gave you, David, you see Maureen's email. Smart watches are totally allowed. Um, um, yeah, and the person who asked about medical condition, but you needed your phone. You can bring a phone, but I mean, I would put it in your little pouch. If you have a medical condition, particularly one that you're afraid of your blood sugar levels, would you let us know? Send a note to Maureen. Just that way we're aware of that. We do have our medical staff has a list of people that, if they come to the medical tent, we know what to do with them. We say, oh, okay, we know she's got a blood sugar issue, and we can take care of you faster. All right. So that covers that sections. Now we have the newbies and the relay question. Whoops, sorry, Andy's got a question.
You missed a question about the relay.
As I just said, I'm going to answer the relay question now.
Well, you're doing a newbie.
I know, because there's a lot of relay. Andy's over here. So that's because there's a lot of new athletes that do relays. So
There's
put it all
also
together.
some veteran athletes that do relays.
That's a good point. Okay, fine. So before we go on to the next section, sorry, let me take it off share. I realize how annoying that was. All right. So if you have, you're part of a relay team, and let's say you have three, there's three of you on the relay team. So you've got the first one's going to swim, right? They come out from the swim. They've got their timing chip on their ankle. So if you've got three of you, my suggestion, the runner takes the ankle bracelet, the timing chip, off of the swimmer and puts it on the bike, or not on the bike person, right? Then the bike person can put their helmet on, which needs to be on and buckled, gets the bike off of the bike rack, and then they go. But they have to transition at the bike rack. They can't just transition wherever they are. They've got to be, and there is special racks just for relay teams. So then when the bike comes back, then the swimmer now has nothing to do, is going to take that bike chip or the timing chip off the biker and put it on the runner, and then the runner can go off. But the biker needs to get the bike to the bike rack, put it on the bike rack, then the runner can switch, and then the runner can go, and then you're set. So you do that because when you're coming out of the swim, sometimes you're, like, oh, you're a little disorientated, and so it's easy to be able to, if somebody else is doing it, you're not having to bend down, and it gives that third person something to do. So either way, I would do it that way. If there's only two of you, you guys can just work it out. But you have to do it at the at transition. So all that always happens there. In the meantime, you know, you want to watch your swimmer, swim, no problem. Just get back to the rack in time for, for that transition or for the run or what have you. You guys can go wander around all you want. Just have an idea of how long it's going to take for that your relay person to be back, so that way you can make sure that you're back in transition at the right time. All right, let's see if we have any more questions, then we'll move on to the first timers. All right, I think we had one. Oh, okay. Back to share. Thank you guys for all still being on. We still have a nice crowd. I appreciate that. All right, and remember to go to the athlete's guide. That will really help you out. Lots and lots of answers there. All right, new to triathlon. So race day. So I was asking about when we start, 5:30. So 5:30, you want to be there, even if you picked up your packet on Saturday. I would still want to be there by like 5:45. First of all, there's a lot going on and it's kind of fun to be part of that atmosphere, but you also want to be able to test your bike. So you find your bike rack, and we'll talk about finding a spot for your bike. Um, but you're going to want to take your bike and take it out for a little spin and make sure that all the gears are working, that the brakes are working, that it feels good to you. And then then you bring your bike back. When you do that, though, when you take your bike out, take a little towel or something and put it over exactly where your bike is going to be on the bike racks. That way, no one misinterprets and thinks that there's nobody there, and then they take your spot. So you just kind of throw something over over the bar. But you want to take your bike out. You're going to want to go put on your running shoes and just do a little run, back and forth, just something to kind of get yourself warmed up. You're also going to want to get in the water. So the water's warm, so it's not like, oh, it's going to be cold, and so I don't want to get in. It is really, really helpful to get in the water and just kind of feel what that feels like. Maybe, you know, get over to the swim start a couple minutes early so that you can go out to the first swim buoy and come back. You can also go at the swim finish is near transition. So you could get in the water there, that's fine, or somewhere along the way because you've got a long stretch of beach before you get all the way to the swim start. So I think in years past, I would just get in the water somewhere near transition and I would swim a bit, and that was my warm up. And then I got out and I we walked along the beach. So, but doing that is really helpful, particularly if you have a wetsuit. Speaking of wetsuits, if you have a wetsuit that you have borrowed, first of all, you don't need a wetsuit in this water, like it's not cold. So if you're wearing it for warmth, rethink it. If you are wearing a wetsuit that you have just purchased or you have borrowed and you haven't been wearing it, really rethink wearing it for the race. But if you end up doing that anyway, you definitely want to warm up with that. You want to get in the water and you want to get used to it because it will feel really confining. And particularly with the anxiety of race day, sometimes it feels like you're not able to breathe, like you're choking, and then you're out here in the middle of the water. So you definitely want to be able to practice with that a little bit between now and then. And then if you wear it on race day, get in the water, let a little water into the collar, and that just kind of opens it up a little. Otherwise, it like suctions to your skin, and that makes it even worse. All right, so lots of things going on during the race. If you are in the first timers wave, that's always at the end because we don't want people swimming over you. That means you're out at the beach for a while. There'll be some people, those some of the really fast athletes, they're going to be finishing before you finish your swim. That's okay. That happens. It's just the way it is. So when you come in, you'll hear somebody going to the finish line. You're like, really? I just started. It's okay. You're just gonna have a great day. All right. So body marking and all that stuff. So you're going to get in your packet, which is an envelope, right? You're going to get your race bib. You only have to wear it during the run. But if you're using safety pins, which we provide, then you don't want to spend time in transition trying to put your bib on. So you might want to wear it in the on the bike too. That's no problem. Don't wear your bib in the water. You'll lose it and you'll rip your shirt. Um, but you can wear it for the other two. Bike number goes on the seat post or it goes here on that crossbar. And then you'll also have a little one and it goes right in the front in the helmet. Body marking, that's thanks to the nice folks over at Falmouth Rotary. They take their job very seriously. And they will mark you. They're going to mark both of your arms with your race number, and then they're going to mark your hopefully, your right calf with your age. Um, Sometimes they do the left leg, right leg, left leg, whatever they do, that's fine. Just let them do it and move right along. What's important is that we have your race number on your arm. All right, so racking your bike. You always rack by the seat. So you see that here, and it goes, you stand right here. So it goes under the bar and back around, and you just kind of hook it. And then all your stuff's going to sit over here too. Now, in this case, this person's got their bike shoes already on their bike. Don't try that race day. If you've been doing it, great. And if not, don't do it. Tell you from personal experience. So, so you're going to have all your stuff there. I would not hang your helmet on your handlebars because somebody, as everyone's like kind of getting through and racing all that's really easy for that to get knocked off. And then your bike helmet ends up 2 rows over. So I'll show you in just a sec. You want to put everything down on the ground where it doesn't have a chance to run away. But you see they've got their bike number right here. It's kind of sticking out there. We can fit up to 8 people on this rack or 8 bikes on the rack, which means 4 on each side. Um, Typically we'll have 6, but we can fit up to 8. So if you rack when I say every other, and you'll probably hear me in transition saying that every other, what I mean is this bike's facing this way, the next bike is facing the opposite way. That way, you're not going to run into each other's bars because if you're going to grab yours and their bar's there and it gets hooked and all of a sudden their bike falls down and the next thing you know it, the other 7 bikes on the rack are down. So if you rack going the other direction, you don't have to worry about the bars, and we can get more bikes in. So if you've got 2 friends and you guys are together, then I would do one here, somebody else is going that way, and then you've got like another one here, and you guys are still next to each other, but there's a bike between you. So that'd be my suggestion. All right, so here's transition. Your wetsuit and all that, you're going to be wearing it to start the race. Afterwards, you can put it just right under your bike. You see how the helmet is here and it's already turned upside down. And this actually, you have to shift a little bit. So the bike helmet is upside down with the clips out and it's facing in a direction that all you have to do is do this, right? So you're going to turn it around, you put it right in your head, buckle it, and off you go. It saves time, but it's more like saving energy, like so that way your brain isn't having to figure out, oh, wait a minute, let me get this helmet on and all that. You're just trying to make it as easy as you can, just so you have a nice, smooth day. All right, so this person has looks like a race belt because their bib is, yeah, there's the race belt right there. So you can buy it like a running store, Amazon. They sell race belts, or if you're already a runner, you might have some from a 5K or 10K, whatever. So I mean, that's what I use. But I wouldn't buy anything extra. And that way you can just put that on before you go for the run, because that's the only time you really need it. Shoes, these laces, I can bet you they can just, yeah, and they've got the shoe horn, they can just slide their feet in. If you have laces that need to be tied, unlace them and lay them out. So that way all you have to do is put your feet in and then you just tie them up. This person has slide for their wetsuit, and then glasses. So I normally leave my sunglasses right in my helmet because that way I know like there's the helmet, there's my sunglasses, put them on, put the helmet on, off I go. But you want it all to be laying right out really easy. And if you have nutrition that you plan on eating after the swim, then you would leave that here too. Or maybe you want some nutrition like out on the run, you've got like some, goo or something like that. You might put it right in your running shoe. Something so that way all that stuff is right there with you. Um, there was something else I thought of with that I thought would be helpful. Oh, well, okay, it will come to me. Um, there we go. So it is a run start for the swim, but I want you to see these green caps. So this is the neon green caps. This was a year that they weren't used for safety, but this year they are safety. So you see how, so we're way over here. Transition is way down the road, down over that way. And there's this little jetty. So you can see your spectators. They like to hang out right there because they can come out just a little bit. And these guys are going in. There's probably a buoy right around here. And then they're just going to go straight across like that. The harbor master's out there. A lot of lifeguards are out there. So we'll keep you safe in the water, but we send just a few out at a time. There's those lifeguards I was telling you about. So town of Falmouth provides our lifeguards, and they're fantastic. And they'll all be out there, not always lined up quite like this. They spread out a little bit. But you're going to be making a left around those buoys, so that you're always going to keep the buoys to your left shoulder. All right, there's the finish of the swim. So you're going to come out of the water. You'll see this is how you can sight to this big red arch. And then you'll come right through and you'll come right into transition. And so that's what this is right here. So that was that little chute. And then you're going to run down this little alleyway until you get into about the middle of transition, and then in you go. So here's a trick for the bike racks. So because we have open racking, it makes it hard to find where your bike is. But on the other hand, you can rack wherever you want. So my trick, take it or leave it, when I go to rack my bike, I look for some kind of marker. So it might be something across the street, like a door or a sign or, whatever it is that's not moving. And I'll find that. And then I'll go however many racks I want to go in. And then I just remember that. Okay, I know that my bike is across from that red door across the street. That makes it a lot easier, particularly when you have your bike with you. You've just come in from the bike, right? You come in, you no longer have that marker like usually in the racks you're looking for your bike. Well, you got your bike, so that's not going to help. So if you know where you parked it because you have some kind of anchor, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to find that spot. So time might not be as much of a concern this time if this is your first race, but making things smooth is just going to make the whole day go better. So all these little like tricks, like having everything laid out and all that, it just makes life a little bit happier because we want you to have a great time. All right, remember, spectators are not going to be here. They can be elsewhere. There's farther down here they can be anywhere on the beach. Um, they can be all around the finish chute, but we want to keep them out of this area. And right over here on that run, sometimes they start crowding you guys, and so we want to keep the spectators over a little bit. We never ride bikes in transition. You can imagine how unsafe that would be. So there's a dismount line. That's what this is right here. So there's a sign, there's people, and they're saying dismount. One thing to note, this flag, all the flags going where you're going into transition are red. All the flags where you're going out of transition are green. So if that helps you. So if you're going, the bike out is on the opposite side, and that's a green flag. So you can look at from transition and go, green flag, I know I got to go out that way, whether I'm biking or running, and then vice versa. So you get off your bike at the dismount line, and actually this year we'll actually have a line, and then you'll run your bike into transition. And then same way on the way out. You run your bike to the mount line, and then you get on your bike and off you go. So there you go. And there you go. And then you finish. So athlete's guide, remember right there. And I didn't mention volunteers in the past 10 minutes, so let me mention them again. We could use some volunteers, and we appreciate your help with that. All right, let's answer some questions.
Okay.
You coming over?
Up where
Okay.
those left off.
Okay.
All right, Chip had a question. If he's doing the aqua bike, how does he know or
Yeah,
when the
yeah.
bike part ends?
Oh, do you want me to answer?
You answer that because I want to take the next one.
Okay. So Aquabike is my favorite chip, so I hope it is yours too. Once you cross the timing mat with your bike, your time is officially complete. So you can then take your time putting your bike on the rack and put on whatever, if you have different shoes, whatever you want to do, and then you can get into the finish shoot. So that way you can get a picture for you know, for the finish line. If you don't care about that, no problem at all. Just go about your business and your time has already been recorded. So your race is complete after you go across the bike mat.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Um, Further clarification on the phone usage. Kathleen was discouraging everyone from having a phone with good reason. However, there are some people, and I think one person has written in where they need that phone. And the USAT rules are that cell phones are not outright banned, but they can never be used in a distractive manner. And I've seen people taking selfies of themselves while they're going 20 miles an hour on the bike. So no phone calls, that sort of thing. But if you do need that phone for hearing or perhaps medical monitoring, of course, carry it with you. Or if you just want to have it in case you're worried the bike is going to break down and you're going to want to make a call. Although we do have a sag wagon, it takes a while to get there. So that's the story on cell phones.
Okay, thanks. All right, so what's the next one?
What time do the beginners start? Because the newbies
They're
do
at the
start
end.
at near the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So let's see. So we start 7. They probably
it's after 8.
yeah, it's probably like maybe right there, like around 8, but you have to be at a transition. So and I didn't mention that before, sorry. So everyone there's a schedule that Maureen posted on the link in chat. It's in the athlete's guide. And you have to be out of transition. I think it's 6:45. So everyone has to be out of transition because you can see what a mess it would be if you're still getting all your stuff together and there's people trying to race. So everyone's got to be down with the water. So when you start isn't as important as when you get out of transition because then that's it. That's you got to have all your stuff there. You might bring some water with you or something like that. Oh, that's what I had. So when I was showing you guys your transition mat with all your stuff. So another hack that I have, I always bring an extra water bottle. I always have a water bottle on my bike. And then I bring an extra water bottle. First, I can sip on it a little bit, but I also use it to squirt my feet because I'm not as coordinated as I used to be. And going in those kiddie pools sometimes can be like a real slipping experience. So I always have a little water bottle and I squirt it on my feet when I get to transition, and that way I don't have sand in my shoes. So that was something I want to mention. But yeah, as far as sorry, am I
Oh,
doing that?
go
Yeah,
ahead.
I do that. Squirrel.
There
Um,
is there is a person though who did ask a question about the transition
okay.
mat that was in the photo, and they liked it very much. Wondered if we provide those.
Oh,
Um,
transition mats.
we have done that as a swag item in
Oh yeah, years
past
ago.
years, but
Yeah,
that's not on the list for this year. We
not
have some
this year.
other neat things, but not a.
So what do we have? Oh, so we
But
have we have a
you can
nice
buy
can.
them.
No, not from us anymore.
No, but
I
you
don't
can
think.
buy them
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
while you're ordering from Amazon
Oh, right.
the race belt. You can also get a little transition
That's
mat.
true. You just want it to be like small, or you know what? A Some people will take like a small beach towel and then just fold it a bit. You want it to be kind of, I don't know, 2 by 4. Like you don't want it to be very big because it's got to sit like right by your bike and you can't take up a ton of room. But that works, or like an oversized hand towel kind of thing. That works just as well. But yeah, this year we have the canvas bags that you get, and they're actually, I think they're pretty nice. Um,
All right. A
all right, what have you
question,
got?
signing up as a first timer, is that necessary in order to swim with the first timers?
Oh, to swim with the first timers, yes. So however you registered is how you're going to swim. If you registered as an age grouper, then you're going to swim with your age group. If you registered as a first timer, then you'll be in the first timers wave and you will not be in your age group. And that we have to be strict about that because of timing, the way the timing works. So if you want to switch either way, send more. I think you can actually do it in your athlete's account, right? Right, Mo? Yes.
I think so. I'm confirming that right now.
Okay. Um, so if not, if you have trouble with that, then send Maureen a note. But if you can do it yourself, that's even better. Um, all right.
All right.
What's next
I
one?
always got a question about the run bib,
Hmm.
how to put it on and what's the best way of doing it. Um, if you pin on your race number on your shirt and you swim with it, and then you get on the bike and you've got the windage of the bike, you're maybe going to lose that race number.
Hmm.
But you don't want to be pinning a race number on your shirt during the race. You want to get racing. So, some people will have an extra shirt, perhaps a big, loose, floppy one that they can easily put on, and that's got the number on it. So they swim without the shirt, and then they put the shirt on for the bike and the run. Um, Others use the race belt. Uh, we've seen it all, but I think trying to swim without a wetsuit and with your race number
It
pinned,
comes off. Yeah.
yeah, I'm worried you're going to stick yourself or something like that.
Yeah, well, and it rips shirts too, because all of a sudden, like you're swimming. But if you're wearing, the caveat to that is if you are wearing a wetsuit, which you don't need one, but if you wanted one, if you were already wearing one, then of course that's protecting the bib. So in that case, you could do that.
Yeah. If
Um,
you're using a surfing or a kayaking wetsuit and you have the ability within the next few days of getting in the water with it, try swimming without it for a certain standard, whether it's 2 lengths of the pool or something like that, and then try going the other way. You may find that you're a faster swimmer without that surfing or kayaking wetsuit because it's not really intended as a swim wetsuit.
it's not buoyant, so it's not going to keep you horizontal, which is going to make you faster.
And it may not be tight enough, and you get these pockets of water in your suit,
Yeah,
and it
it's
could
nice
be
angle.
counterproductive.
Yeah.
So just something to, you know, always test things out ahead of time.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So I can't see who it is, a Zoom user.
Oh,
The question is, do first timers still get their age written on them, or is there something else marked? That is a really fair question that no one has asked before. You still get your age on there, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of putting it on your calf. But it's a USAT rule that we have it, and so we do it. So keeping that in mind, if you are running or biking behind someone and you're like, oh, they're in my age group, I better hurry up, or, then you might not need to because they might actually be in first timer instead, and you won't be competing with them. But either way, you gotta still have your number. No dogs allowed, unfortunately, Maya. So no dogs with spectators. It's the
towns,
town's rule for the no dogs at the beach.
and they do have administrators on site, so
Yeah.
they're going to be watching.
Oh, sorry.
It's like yours.
It is mine. All right. So towel over the rack. Yeah. So Mackenzie asked, can we put our towel over our rack spot when we take the bike? Yes, exactly. So don't like keep it wide open, because then that's probably like two bikes worth. So kind of fold it up like you would, like the same distance as your bike, like width as your bike, and put it over it, and then someone will know, like, oh, that person's just off on their bike. So that is perfect.
Rebecca was asking about the safe swimmer pole buoys or the
Oh, okay.
buoys, and can they be allowed in the very last wave of
Yes.
swimmers? And that's a
Yes, yes,
yes.
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please. If you feel more comfortable with that, we just don't want you to clothesline somebody, so you'll just
Yeah. There's
swim
a
the back of the wave.
good suggestion about putting your bike in an easy gear when you leave it racked and head off to go swimming. So often we see people try to get on their bike and they're in the hardest gear and they can't really get going and they're wobbling and we're worried they're going to fall over. So yeah,
It
easy
happens.
gear in the beginning is the best way to go. Valuables like phones and car keys.
People bring them all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can have
transmission
it.
is pretty safe.
Oh, so here, yeah, transit, and that's why it's like athletes only. Everyone's has the same stake. But here's we have this transition. We have we give you guys these canvas bags, and they're knee bags. They're nice bags. don't put your keys or things like that in that bag because everyone else has the exact same bag. And we had a guy at Hyannis that put his wallet, I think it was, in his canvas bag because he's like, oh, I got my bag but there, and then it just blended in with all the others, and he never found it again. So keep your stuff that's like you want to make sure that you know, like your wallet, your keys, put it in your like transition bag, something that you'll be able to recognize. And that way, if you lost a canvas bag, like not a big deal, we can get you a new one. But so anyway, had not thought about that. We've done the canvas bags now. This is our second year. And it's the first time someone had their wallet in it and it never found again.
Yeah. What I always do is I bring enough money in case something comes up that I, need to pay the bike mechanic for something, or I want to get a snack at the snack bar, but don't keep $100 in your
No reason for
no
it.
reason to. Yeah.
All right, so Jenny asked, can we switch to aqua bike at this point? Yes, you totally can. You can all the way up to race day. But if you do it before race day, you'll make Maureen happy and you won't have to stand in two lines. So if you want to go into your athlete account, you should be able to do it there. If not, Maureen's email is somewhere farther up in this chat. Just over there. All right, so Ben, do you want to answer that question?
The nudity in the transition area question.
Yeah, it happens.
There was a time where people didn't even bother putting a towel around them. But now that's
They
verboten.
have to.
So if you're really good at doing the surfer's change, go ahead. In Hyannis, there are cabanas, but I don't think Falmouth really has them that's
No.
easy access to. Although you guess you could, but it's
No,
just,
they don't have, it's not like Hyannis that has the
well, they
little
have
things.
changing in the beach house, but
Oh, yeah,
it's
you have to
time
go in there.
consuming.
Yeah, that's not worth it. But yeah, if you need to change, then do it. Most people don't though. You just wear whatever you are wearing in your swim, you wear throughout the whole time, but you
Yeah.
definitely want to practice that.
Keep in mind, it's an 8-mile bike. You can do the bike in a swimsuit, and it's not going to chafe you, the way if you were doing a longer race where you really want to have some padding in your bike shorts.
Depends on how old you are.
I guess so.
Yeah. So, sorry if you. So,
Did you feed her dinner?
I did feed her dinner.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if you guys can hear the dog, but
Yes.
all right. So question, first timer group. Yes. Maureen, can Jeff switch to the first timer group in his athlete's account without you? Okay.
Yes.
So Jeff, just go in your
Yes, he
athlete's
can.
account. Okay.
It's
If
the
you have
top, it's
trouble,
the first drop down underneath email address when you go in there. Participation options.
all right. And then the next question, still related, first timer, is being in the first timer group required, or can we go with your age group? You can totally go with your age group. The advantage to going to the first timer wave is if you're not as comfortable in the swim, and that's because that's usually where people have the least amount of comfort in a triathlon. It's one thing to be able to like swim, but when you're swimming with like a lot of people in the water, it can get kind of nerve-wracking. So if that's a concern for you, then you want to be in the first timer wave because everyone else there is dealing with the same thing and they tend to be very nice. It's like you bump into somebody and, oh, sorry, you do that in the age group, they just, swim past you, or over you or, elbow you if you're getting too close. So the age group waves tend to be a little more aggressive. Not impossible. And the way that we do the start, it's a little easier. It's not like in the old days where you had like 70 people all getting in the water at the exact same time. And that was like you were fighting in the water. So it's not like that, but it still sometimes can be a little nerve-wracking. So that's why you would want to do the first timer wave. Keep in mind, if you're a fast cyclist, you're going to have a lot of people that you're going to be getting through because your wave started after them. So you have to kind of weigh that out. All right. All right, Andy, are you up next?
No, I don't remember where you left off.
I don't know either.
I was
hoping you would
the
know.
dog.
Yeah. The it's a participant. All right, see, Mo answer that. Bib number. Do you only need the bib number for the run, or do you also need it on the bike portion? So Holly, you need the bib number for the run, But on the bike, you have your bike number that it's like a sticker kind of thing, and you put that on your bike, and that's what we use for the bike. So you don't have to have that bib on the bike at all. And I tend to not like it on the bike because, like you get the wind and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of people do. So you only have to have it for the run. Um,
Maureen answered the next question, and Maureen is the expert on that.
for USAT, yeah, but for
USAT.
the recording doesn't see the chat, so that's why I
Oh,
always say it.
okay, so
That's why I always say
get
it.
that.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So the question was USAT verified on the wallet pass sufficient for USAT evidence for packet pickup. And Maureen's answer, and Maureen is the expert in this for sure. Usually, but we ask that you have proof of purchase as well, just in case, because it's so hard to do that on race otherwise. You can present a receipt or a digital card, which can be accessed in your USAT account. And if you have that already, like just a screenshot, then you'll be all set. Um,
Ben is next. Do I have that right?
no, where are you? I'm looking at Rebecca.
Go ahead then.
Okay, so Rebecca asks, can you talk a little bit about the drafting rules? Thank you for bringing that up. I read about it and worried I would do it accidentally. So the drafting rules, I'm gonna let Andy take part of it, but I'm gonna
Oh,
jump in anyway.
before that though was Ben.
Okay, well, let me answer this question first, then we'll go back. We'll go back, Ben, I promise. So with drafting, so USAT just changed their drafting rules about a year or so ago, and now it's like, it is kind of far. At Falmouth, though, it's only an 8.5 mile course, and you've got 750 people out there. So we're not as strict about it, but you can't sit on someone's wheel. So the rule used to be 3 bike lengths. Now I think it's 4 or 5.
It's 12 meters.
Yeah, but I was trying to think of how many bike rides. It's a lot, but you can't do that at Falmouth. Like there's just not enough space. You guys are gonna be closer together, but don't suck on someone's wheel, because when you're doing that, then you're gaining from them kind of blocking that wind for you,
Right.
and that's not fair.
And we will call penalties on straight sections of road, but if, as often happens on a turn, there's a bunch of bikes.
Yeah, something you can do.
Oh no, I'm close to the bike in front of me. As long as you don't hit the bike, you're fine, and you're not
Right.
going to get tagged.
Right. Yeah, we have motorcycle. We have our officials that are out on motorcycles that are going around, and they don't just like spot one person and go, "Yep, that's it. Write that number down." They're gonna like stop and watch a little bit. And so if they see that, yeah, clearly you're sucking on that wheel, they're gonna write you down. But if you're, like, oh, you had a little space, now you're a little closer, they usually go, yeah, that's fine.
Most important thing is to stay to the right unless you're passing, to notify the person ahead of you if you're passing, and do not stay in the middle or on the left side of the lane. That's blocking, and that is a penalty that we will enforce.
And don't cross the yellow line. There's some speed demons out there who are probably not on this call at this point that it's like at all costs they're going to go, but eventually they could get really hurt. So no crossing yellow line. Okay, so what was Ben's question?
If he has to try wetsuit, I guess this is not a hypothetical. Would we recommend wearing it for the first timers on Sunday? I think my answer on that is it depends on your swim background. If you were a youth swimmer, high school, college sort of thing, you probably don't need a wetsuit to get that much faster. You're already pretty fast. If you're more new to swimming, or more like the rest of us who are we try hard, but we're not great. On that course, I would pick up easily 30 seconds by wearing a wetsuit, or gain 30 seconds at least by wearing a wetsuit. But with other people, they might not gain very much. So, as we always say over and over again, try things out if you possibly can ahead of the race.
Yeah, and I think that's what Beth Ann wrote. Triple B said, if you haven't been training with it, don't wear it on race day. So the one golden rule with triathlon, and it's been proven time and time again, nothing new on race day. Now, if you're starting as your first race, that in itself is new, but you want to make sure you've trained. Whatever you've been doing in training is what you do on race day. So if you haven't been wearing a wetsuit, don't wear it on race day. You're going to regret that.
In Ben's defense, that was not the situation. He just was wondering about wearing it in the first timers,
Oh, yeah, you can.
but not for the
Either
first
way.
time.
Not for the first time. Okay,
The
good. Yeah.
newbie group. Okay.
That's you wouldn't be the first if you said so, Ben. I see it all the time, and it's like, oh my gosh, this thing's choking me. You can always leave it on the beach if you have to, although then I have to carry it back. If you're like, oh, what was I thinking? Let me take this thing off before you get in the water.
Have swim waves been announced yet?
I don't think that they're on. They will be in the athlete's guide if they are not already.
The swim waves are up. I haven't put the colors in yet, but I will do that tomorrow.
Awesome.
Okay,
Thanks.
but yes, they are associated with age and gender. Running vests during the bike to hold phones, fuel, etc. Yes, that's allowed. Safety pins are provided.
Yeah.
Age group waves, do you get to choose when you start?
So within the wave, you choose when you start. So if you're 20 to 29-year-old female, there's a bunch of you. Then if you're a faster swimmer, I'd get in the front of that. And if you're slower, stay in the back so that way you're not getting in the way of somebody else. So you'll be able to self-seed from there. And actually, that would be really appreciated for everybody else that's in that wave with you. If they're not, you're a slower swimmer and you're in the front, and then everyone's got to go around you, and then you've got all these people, and no one likes that. So, so kind of seed yourself within within that wave.
Okay. Bib number for the run. Bib is only needed on the run, but you can wear it for other parts of the race. It's just that we don't recommend it, especially for the swim, unless you're wearing it under a wetsuit.
Okay, and then some questions about the canvas bag. It's just a gift that we're giving you. You don't have to put anything in it. It's up to you. And Beth Ann did answer that, but since the recording doesn't read the chats, we want to give you something from us. We appreciate you guys being here. And so this year it's the canvas bags. And if you win an award, we have a trunk tote that is with our logo on it, for all of your great tri gear. So those are for award winners only, but something else that we do for you.
Nick has a good suggestion that we ask our race announcer to remind cyclists to stay to the right unless they're passing. And Nick, it can be a problem at some races everywhere. Kathleen and I can't race in the summer, so we have to race in the winter and go down south, and we just see it all the time. And we try to enforce it the best we can here and get the word out, but it's an ongoing struggle.
That's and that was part of the if you're a first time athlete and your swim is okay, but you're a fast cyclist, I'd want to switch to the age group and then go to the back of that age group wave, so that way you're not having people swim over you. That might be better that will help you on the bike, because then you're not getting through all these people. Okay, so
Maureen answered a good question well about the switch.
all right.
And so now if something happens to a bike on the course.
Okay, that's all you. Go ahead.
You need to maybe walk over to the nearest volunteer, because there's plenty of corners and intersections on this course. You're not far away from a volunteer. And if you don't know, ask how far you are from the transition area. You may deem it's best to walk your bike back to the transition. We do have the ability to bring riders in with their bikes on the course, but we can't do it like the Tour de France, where we have a team car behind you, and nowhere near that. It's going to be near the end of the bike, because we're dealing with critical areas and intersections and lots of issues. So when we can turn our attention to bringing in the people who break down, it's going to be a little bit later. Sorry, but I've walked my bike probably 10 miles in my triathlon career over who knows how many races. It does happen. Yeah.
So and to Andy's point, you'll know where you are on the course if you drove it beforehand. then you'd be like, oh, I know I've got 5 miles left to go, or oh, actually finish line is around the corner. You want to get
Yeah.
her? Sorry. All right. So, question that Holly asked. So if if you're in the first timer wave, but you're a good swimmer, do you risk pushing up against the next wave? And that can happen at any point. There ends up being a bit of a mix. But Holly, my suggestion, if you're a good swimmer, you might not want to be in the first timer wave because really the only reason to be in the first timer wave is because of the swim. It's that way you're not feeling like you're, um, like you've got all these people that are swimming, swimming around you and they're faster and that it kind of raises anxiety. So if you're already a great swimmer, and I would do age group if I were you. My personal opinion. Um, so and to help picture that, I guess with swimming, so you've got like when you guys start off and you get to the first buoy, maybe even the second buoy, it might only be people within your wave. But if you're a faster swimmer, you're going to kind of leapfrog ahead of others, and then some people in the waves ahead of you are going to be a little slower. And so it ends up kind of being a bit of a rainbow. And that's not a problem. It's not like it's going to be like a conveyor belt. And I think that's usually what people picture is like this sea of people going around. You end up having a little bit of room. So you should be good. Um, thank you guys so much. So I think that is all the questions that I saw. If I didn't get somebody or Andy didn't get somebody's question, if you throw it in chat really fast, so that way we'll know. Um, we appreciate you guys all being on today. We appreciate you guys racing with us. And I imagine that everyone that's on, this is your first or almost first race, and congratulations, because right now you've done farther than you ever have in triathlon. And on race day, the idea is to have a good time. Enjoy it. It's the only first triathlon you're ever going to have. So enjoy your race. Don't worry about being fast. Just try to be nice, smooth, relax, soak in everything. Pay attention to signs on the bike course. That's usually the big thing because you're going by and you're not thinking. Um,
Two more questions.
Okay. So two questions. What if you want to do the aqua bike, but you want to swim with first timers? That doesn't work like that. So Jenny, if you want to do aqua bike, you'll be in the first wave, which is fine. I would be in the back of the first wave. There's not a ton of people. There's maybe 30 people in that first wave, but some of the other aqua bikers are serious. They're like collegiate swimmers and they're like 25, 30 mile an hour cyclists. Like that's what they do. So just be behind them. But you can totally do aqua bike if you're more comfortable with that, if you don't want to run. Um,
And then if I'm racing with my husband,
can swim in the same
swim in
wave.
the same wave if you pick the friends and family
If
wave.
you're friends and family, or if you're in the newcomers wave, there's a lot of newcomers. I think we have 138, but we'll kind of separate. It's not like everyone's going at once. We'll do like a little at a time, so you could be with your husband that way. Um,
Okay.
um, okay. And then Steph, our safety coordinator, wanted to reiterate about if you have any kind of medical condition, please make sure that we know that. So that way we can make sure that you stay safe throughout the race. And I think that's it. Now we got all the questions. Anyone have anything else they want to throw in last minute? What email? Um, Sean, let's see. Sean, I don't remember what your question was, but ultimately all emails go to Maureen. She will. I'm gonna put it in chat for you here. So thank you all. We are looking forward to seeing you on Saturday night and possibly or Sunday. We hope you have a great rest of your week, get some rest, and you are gonna love the sport. It is the best sport ever. And it's a lot of fun and it's a fun challenge and there's lots of great people in triathlon. So welcome.
And you'll want to do hyenas too in
Right. You
September.
want to do Highness too in September. Exactly. All right. You guys have a good night.